I thought the whole time, like through my whole recruiting process, I thought I was just going to play lacrosse. So um, I was only looking at lacrosse schools until I looked at Harvard a little bit, but for both. But coming to BC on a lacrosse visit, I had no idea that BC hockey coaches even knew who I was. So um, Acacia had talked to them, and they actually were like, "Oh, yeah, she's on our radar." So I ended up not knowing, just right when I got here for the lacrosse visit, I ended up meeting with the hockey coaches as well. So after that, I kind of really had my mind set on coming here and playing both. But before that, and that was late sophomore year, so before that, I honestly didn't even cross my mind. It was hard just because I honestly didn't know what I wanted to do. It came down to BC and this like UNC, just lacrosse. So I kind of had to like decide like if I wanted to play hockey or not, and so that was like my hardest decision, probably just factoring the hockey part. It's pretty difficult. We have really good resources at BC though. I have an academic advisor who kind of helps me get set up with tutors. She just helps me stay organized. So it's really hard, and it's a lot of times you're traveling and you're exhausted and just want to sleep. So getting that help from the resources at BC is really helpful. One thing I love about hockey is, compared to other sports, is it's a game of mistakes. So um, literally, there's probably 10 mistakes made in each shift, and a shift is like a minute and 30 seconds. So that's my favorite part about hockey. I think it's just like you don't worry, you don't think too much, you don't think at all really. It's like a flowy game, if that makes sense. And how close I am with my team, probably. I think that's the locker room. We're always in there, and I don't know. Those probably are my two favorite parts. I like that it's a controlled sport, so you kind of it's completely different than hockey. I think, in my opinion, not many mistakes being made. That's what I don't really like about it, but I think it's cool how it's controlled, and I don't know, at BC or at
In general.
in general, yeah, just the control. I would say my hockey teammates. They're all actually. I think the two teams. I think the hockey team and the lacrosse team are actually very similar at BC. They. It's obviously different, but I would say the hockey team's a little bit more laid back, and the lacrosse team is more just takes it a little bit more seriously. Not that the hockey kids don't. It's just a different atmosphere. Something for me, I didn't commit anywhere until like my winter junior year in high school, and that's kind of unlikely for both lacrosse and hockey. Most kids commit early. So the one thing that I tell my little sisters and who are going through the same process I went through, and anyone who really visits at BC, I just tell them that to not rush into your decision, because it's basically the rest of your life. It's the start of the rest of your life. So I think rushing into it is where you can make those mistakes, and just don't be too influenced by what coaches say. So that's kind of where like hockey and lacrosse are different. Hockey, you're in the locker room most of the time. So there's way more locker room talk. It's usually before the game. It's really laid back. We're like laughing, dancing, singing. But then once the game starts, we don't listen to music or anything. It's more of just talking about what had happened the period before. Because after every period, we come off and sit in the locker room for like 15 minutes. So there's a lot of chatter about just stuff going on in the game. In lacrosse, we just go listen to music, but then we go to the Newton field, so we just kind of go straight to the field. We're not really in the locker room talking or anything. It's more just in hockey. I have to say my mom is my inspiration. She played 3 sports at Colby College, which is D3 in Maine, and she's been a coach her whole entire life. And she actually just got in the Hall of Fame for starting a lacrosse program in my town. So I would have to say her. She's been my role model my whole life. So she's really easy to look up to.